Hello, and welcome to the first in a series of conversations about reinventing livelihoods. I have gathered here with me three gentlemen who I consider leaders and thinkers in the reinventing livelihoods conversation. So maybe first let me introduce myself. My name is Victor. I am working on many projects, a key one of them right now being Village.Builders and this idea of Village 3.0, so redesigning the village for the 21st century. Together with me today is Erwin. Erwin, maybe you can say a few words about yourself.
Hello, Victor. I've just come back from Vorski, so it's nice to be here. My name is Erwin, and I live in Belgium. And I've been involved in this, let's say, new paradigm movement for the last 6 years, growing things like this. It's wonderful to be here and wonderful to be part of this new project. Thank you.
Thank you, Erwin. Josh, a few words about yourself.
Josh, and I've been really, we've been really creating a lot of new business structures. We've been wanting to do a new way of working together for a long time. And collaboration has really been coming into our spheres. I have a company, Green Earth City, and we can build 700 homes. And what we're realizing is we really, a really big part of creating a new system is creating relationships, and that has to do with creating a new way that we do business together when it comes to the whole shifting the paradigm.
Brilliant. And Mariusz.
So hello, I'm Mariusz, and for the last few years I've been involved mostly into startups. Mostly as an owner, as a founder, as a business developer. And since almost 2 years, I'm involved also in this whole teal movement, the new paradigm movements. And currently, I'm facilitating the journey. I'm developing the documentary movie about personal transformation of people in next stage organizations. So this is why I'm based in Warsaw at this moment.
Great, thank you. So maybe to start, let's talk a little bit about what does this thing called livelihood mean? We are very purposefully and very intentionally not using the word work, which has a particular history coming out of the Industrial Revolution. We're trying to bring back or really explore this idea of what is a livelihood in this new era. So Josh, maybe you can say a few words. What does livelihood mean to you in this context?
Thanks, Victor. For me, livelihood is, I feel like we've been given, it's like we're playing a game of life, and we draw the card that says, I'm going to be a doctor, or I'm going to be a lawyer, and this is how much I'm going to make, and this is going to determine if I win this game that everyone's playing. And for me, livelihood should be a whole lot more, and was, before a lot of the invents of a lot of these different systems. And to me, livelihood is a lot more related to our purpose and passion. And I believe that if we're able to find our purpose and to express that through passionately, that we're going to be, living what we're going to automatically be producing the results that we want. And I think the only thing missing from that would be a system of organization that allows us to not only flow in and out when we need, but also to be matched in a way where we're not all doing one thing and having to transport goods, across the country.
That's beautiful. Mariusz, what are your thoughts on what livelihood is?
Okay, so livelihood for me is a subjective point of view on each of us lives. I mean, so a livelihood for me is how I perceive my life, and what do I want actually, what needs do I have, and how I'm meeting them. So those comes from the basic needs, like, having the shelter, having the food, friends, family, and so on, to some more, let's say, sophisticated needs that each of us could have. So for me, livelihood is about creating that space where, in the safe atmosphere, in my place, I can make my needs met by being in the community, by being in some company, by being with some friends of mine that just supports me in that, and also that the community or society gives me the possibilities to just make what I want to do. So this is livelihood for me.
Beautiful, thank you. So providing of the basics, passion, meaning. I really like this idea of meaning. And I think, for example, this conversation here for me is a best example of what a livelihood is, because none of us is here because we're making money from this. None of us we're doing this because we love this, because we consider this new movement important, and this is a key part of our life. So next then is the question of Josh.
Did we miss Erwin?
I think so, but okay, no problem.
Erwin, what does livelihood mean?
Well, to me, livelihood is looking for your personal higher purpose, which can have impact on the higher purpose of other people, and even of organizations and society in that way. But it all starts with ourselves. And if we go back in time and we look for our essential connecting values that we all carry inside, I think once we start looking for those, we can really find our livelihood again, because we've been, I think, in my opinion, we've gone too far towards becoming sheep, as I call it, being conditioned in this Tayloristic mindset, which has brought us to where we are. Of course, I'm not condemning that. I'm not judging that. It's just that we might reinvent ourselves in that way. And it starts with looking at ourselves, at personal self-leadership. And to me, leadership is about constructing or creating constructive influence on yourself, on your environment, on the organization that you work in or work for, and even towards society on a meta level, of course. So that's what livelihood means to me.
That's beautiful. I really connect with this. That's really beautiful. I really connect with this idea of meaning and purpose as being the core of livelihood. And I think it connects well with this conversation we're doing here, because it's not work in the traditional sense. None of us is getting paid for this, or really hoping that we will. We're here because this idea is important and key to everything that we're doing in our lives. So if that is livelihood, then why do we need to reinvent it? And what does it really mean to reinvent livelihood? Again, Erwin, maybe you can speak a bit to that.
Yeah. Well, it's like I just said before, we've been, let's say, through our whole life, from the minute we get born, where we are pure, We don't know anything good or bad, or we're just born. We get conditioned towards this system that has been in place. And what has happened during our history is that the system has become the main goal, or has become the main object, where actually it's the people making the system work that have been sort of forgotten. So I think if you look at organizations, or you look at how the world is looking now, the VUCA world, as we call it, it might be time, and I think a lot of people are looking for this, are looking for new ways of reinventing themselves to start with. And connecting to other people in a very much deeper way, in a spiritual way, in a healthy living, in healthy nutrition, whatever is coming out there, and also in participation towards companies, organizations, wanting to also have some impact on decision making. So if we want to create a new sort of society and follow the new paradigm, or put a new paradigm in front of us, I think it's time for us, and the time is right now. Because if you look what's happening in the world at this moment in time, with polarization, with populists that are let's say starting to rule the world, I think it's time for us to sort of stand up and be ready for the time that these populists and let's say right-wing politicians will create some chaos in our society, so that we can actually move on. Because without revolution, you don't have evolution. So one might be necessary to create the next step, and I think we can be ready for the next step. So that's why I think we should look at reinventing our livelihoods and higher purposes in that way. Thank you.
Great. Mariusz, what are your thoughts on reinventing livelihoods?
Thanks. So I believe we have one thing in common as a species. So we want to be happy, and not what other people says to us that we need to do. And till now, because of all the ages that we had, industrial age and so on, we were mostly told what to do, and there were only some individuals that were doing what they want to do. So I believe that we as a species just want to be happy and satisfied with our lives, and the current system does not work in a way that it embraces this, that it creates the possibilities for this. So if we want to really live happy and be satisfied, we need to take the responsibility in our hands. And to make it happen, we need to reinvent how we actually live, so as not to be only in the system that just supports the control, fear, and being the subordinate. So I believe that we need to invent livelihoods to be happy.
That's great. Also, I think there is the reality of the technology. Different systems of work, from hunter-gatherers through agriculture, industrial age, and now the post-industrial age, were shaped by the technology of production and the technology of information. And the systems that we have around us, the way society is constructed, is still very much from the industrial age, which is still in many ways based on the agricultural age. And I would say that a simple way of putting it is we can do better. I think given the capabilities we are been given by the capabilities we have thanks to information technology, information is free, it can be distributed really widely. The hierarchical systems developed and made sense in a world of information and communication scarcity. I really loved, I was in England a few years ago at the Telegraphy Museum, and they had a display of the first telegraph line from the UK to India. At that time, sending one telegram cost the equivalent of a physical laborer's 2 months' wages. Today, we can send thousands of emails a day for free, which completely changes the reality of how we can work and collaborate together, such as this conversation we're having now. So I think these possibilities presented in front of us enable us to come up with a very, very different way of life. Also, we have a much deeper and better understanding in many ways of what really makes humans happy and what makes for human-centric, happy organizations. Josh, how about you? Reinventing Livelihoods, what do you think?
Yeah, so I think we're heading into a time where we've been dealing with these stagnant companies and way of interacting, the pyramids, and it's like you can only do one thing, this is your position, and that's it. Not only are we being told what to do and all the other, and we're not happy and all the other problems that are along with it, but these systems don't evolve. We're not able to, as we know with any community, when it reaches if you have like say 10 people in a community and they never grow, they're not evolving, it gets stagnant and everyone wants to leave and disperse. And the same thing happens with companies. If there's not growth, if there's not movement, if there's not, people want to show up later, they want to do this job instead of that one. And so there's all these different variations and factors. And I think that one thing that we need is something that can accompany it. And I don't want to get what I said taken wrong. Like, I want to go do this all of a sudden. Like, it may not be that free where you just go do whatever. There might be, there needs to be some structure and some acceptance, but right now we have law books that are so big. It's like so much structure that no one can possibly comprehend it. And all we can do is just do what we're told. So I think we're moving, even with Nassim Haramein, it's like we're learning how the physics of reality work, and we're learning more and more about our universe every day. And we're starting to incorporate, we've gotten these 2D models, and now that we've gone to 3D, and we got 3D, reality games. And I think we're even moving with what we're doing into what I would consider 4D, which I don't know if I'm using the right dimensional phrase, but which would include time. So it's, we're living in a 3D reality. Even sacred geometry, when you add time, it's going to become something else. So we're adding time into it, and this is where we're merging, we're growing like cells, and we're having to move together, and we're having to like move in the future together. We're having to move forward together, and we're wanting to be autonomous. We're wanting to be in some realms, we just as humans in our relationships, we want to be separate in some ways, and we want to be together in some ways. And so as we move together, we want to be able to have a system that allows for us to move to gain momentum together. And so that's my answer to why we need to reinvent them.
That's great. Thank you, Josh. I know this is just a taster because all of us have thought about this a lot, and we're all bursting with ideas on this topic, which is why this conversation is just the first, launching a whole series. So maybe a few words of this conversation series. What do you see the purpose of this conversation being, Mariusz?
Okay. I see the purpose of these conversations is to start really creating first in our thoughts, in our minds, and by discussion, the platform in which we would share the ideas and really put it to the public, so as then we would just pick up the knowledge that we want from other conversations, and maybe based on this to create something new. I think this series is to recognize the great ideas, to recognize the real wisdom that is within each of us, and to put this wisdom in a form that others could easily take it, and just maybe based on that we can create then some new ways of living, new ways of being. And if not, I believe all the acquaintances, all the friends, all the other things that can come up on the way, they will just pop up. And I'm already excited where this will go to. So that's why I would like to invite everybody.
You're on mute.
Erwin, how about you?
Well, I see this series, or the start of this series, as hopefully an organic growth of new communication, in where we share our ideas, share our thoughts on wonderful subjects like this, where we can actually reach out to a lot of people, actually to millions of people, if you can think of it. Because this is, if this goes, let's say, viral, it can grow and grow and grow and grow. Does it need to keep growing? Of course not. I mean, nothing keeps growing forever. But it gives us a chance to connect to a lot of people out there who might already have new ideas and new, or are on their path in reinventing livelihoods and reinventing organizations and bringing in new ideas in every sector of society. There's so many things happening at this moment. I think we all can agree on this, that since this book of Lalou came out, for instance, where we use the word teal, all of a sudden we use the color as a paradigm. Even on this solo item, there's been so many initiatives, wonderful initiatives, as we both know. And I think with this series of talks, we can actually connect all these initiatives. We can also inspire a lot of people in this recognition that we might give them. Because if we can share and communicate about our ideas and stories, this can grow immensely, so that we can actually reach a critical mass to really make it concrete in reinventing livelihood and organizations and even society, for that matter.
Great. Josh?
Both really good answers. So to add to that, I feel that we want to make this series. So to elaborate sort of on what Mariusz said is to make this series so we can actually, in my mind, it's getting the experts together, finding these questions that we're asking, getting it delineated into answers, solid answers that go, okay, so you can take a look at it on a piece of paper and go, this is why we need to do this. And this is just for our conversation, but any question you want to ask, we can have sort of like a crowdsource, but it's actually more on a conversational level, which brings it out of just a vote, or it brings it into you're getting to know people, you're connected with synergistic relationships, and on top of that, you're able to watch other people, see who's who, and on top of that, you get the delineated answers, and then you can add more answers, can vote on it, we can have some solutions can be made through this. And I wanted to add one thing to the last question that I forgot is redistribution of wealth. That's why we need to, reinvent livelihoods too. So we're not, redistribution of wealth.
Great, thank you, Josh.
Abundance.
It actually, when you say that a different way of distributing wealth, it also made me think that I really hope that we can connect with the P2P world, platform cooperatives. There's so many, as Erwin said, there's so many different movements. Not all of them are talking to all of them, but I think there is no one movement that has all of the answers. So we need everybody talking together to really come up with everybody's got some piece of the puzzle, but we all need to come together to create the picture of this beautiful new future that we hope for. And what I also hope is that this series is not just experts, but it's also ordinary people thinking and sharing their ideas of how they're working through reinventing livelihoods. I really hope that this acts as an inspiration to many people. I have many friends who I know are on the journey, are considering of going on the journey of reinventing how they work with their livelihood. And in a lot of ways, this series is for them to help, to allow them to connect with ideas and to inspire and empower them to continue on this journey, which is still a new one and is not there. You know, we are explorers in many ways. So this is a way of sharing the maps that we create along the way. So, this series of conversations is open. Anybody is able to contribute to it. You can send us the video or share it on YouTube. We'll share it on our channels. We're in the process of setting up all of those channels. We're open and widely inviting different organizations who are interested in this question from any angle. We're not looking for any one answer. We're looking for a conversation around many different answers, many different pieces of the puzzle. So join us. It's all about having fun. So as a goodbye, check out. Thank you all for taking the time. I look forward to the ongoing conversations. This was the first one, so of course it's a little bit rough, but I've greatly enjoyed it. Thank you very much. Erwin.
Yes, thank you, Victor, for the invitation, and also Mariusz and Josh, of course, for your contribution and being here. And I'm happy to be part of this. I'm happy to see this grow. So yeah, if you people out there want to be part of this, join us. You know, this is only a start, and it can go very rapidly, organically. So if you have a wonderful contribution to add to this, please join us, and thank you for watching this.
I think it went really smooth. I think we actually got a lot of good answers in. So, you know, delineate it, look through it. I feel complete. Thank you guys for.
Thank you.
Oh,
Mariusz.
I feel happy, and I feel happy to be next to you, next to all of you guys, and being part of this, since I know that people and all of you guys who are watching this, if you have some ideas, they are worth sharing. If you have some energy that, you know, keeps you still watching this, it means you are interested. So I encourage you to just take the next steps, because this is all about discussion, and from discussion everything comes. So thank you very much, and see you soon.
Can I just add something, Victor?
Please.
I forgot to mention something. There's 4 guys here. What about getting ladies in as well? Because it's about maybe some extra feminine energy that we need in our world.
I have been thinking that too. I wasn't going to bring it up, but this series, yes, we want everybody from, and also we want people of all age groups. So I think I would really love to get some people that are in their teenage years and some people that are in 70s and 80s, because and also I would really love to get people from all parts of the world. So, and also I think what's important to note is that we're not here bringing any great answers. We're here with some good questions. So even if you don't have, you feel, you're lost, this is great. Share your questions with everybody. Let's go on this journey together.
And one thing I want to add is yeah, it doesn't stop at this video either. It's like, we've got the questions down now. We're only 4 experts, so it's still on the table. It's still open. So
great.
We can throw anybody else can throw a video on it.
All right. Thank you.
Cool, guys.